Buddy JC here, and welcome to the first live stream of 2023. And let's just take a quick roll call of who's in the house. Uh, some Bull Nations in the house. What's up, man? The View with Drew is here. Good to see you. Everett is in the house. What's up? Looks like Everett is talking turtles. Mr. All Mine, what's up? Lord Venger, what's up, man? Paul's in the house. 3M is in the house. What's up, Mr. Allmine? Isaac's in the house. What's up? Mr. B. Mutzik Blitz is in the house. Music Blitz. Rashid is in the house. What's up? So, new year. What's it going to bring for action figures? I'm sure, all of us are kind of wondering, is this going to be a good year for action figure collecting, or is it going to be a bad one? I'm of a mind that I think overall it'll probably be pretty good. Yeah, prices will still kind of suck, but um, hopefully we won't see any more price increases in 2023. What's up, Eric? But I think we'll see some cool stuff. I think we'll see companies continue to put out pretty cool stuff. I'm excited for G.I. Joe Classified this year. We're going to be getting Indiana Jones 6-inch figures. Uh, more cool Masters of the Universe, I imagine, from Mattel. Super 7's going to continue to crank out stuff. Hopefully, we'll get our Thunder Tanks this year. Hopefully, fairly soon here, we'll get our Thunder Tanks. Mr. Allmine. Salome is not currently here, but you never know when she might drop in. What's up, Bean? Everett is talking about Last Ronin figures. Mr. Allmine, Mezco Turtles will come out in 2029. Playmates Turtles from 1990. Yeah, those new Ninja Elite figures that Playmates Toys announced today, which I guess are already hitting Walmart stores, at least some out in the West Coast. But like two of the figures they just released in those two packs with the Shredder and the Triceraton, and then two of their movie figures that they threw trench coats on. You got to give it to Playmates for finding new ways to reissue the same figures over and over again. Music Blitz says, great for G.I. Joe as long as they don't drop a year's worth of stuff all in November, December, breaking our Christmas budgets again. Yeah, hopefully distribution will be better this year as far as like getting stuff out more on time. Um, definitely let's hope for that. Lord Venger, I I don't believe I've seen the that figure, so I'm not sure where Everett saw something about that figure, so I don't know. Henry G, what's up? Neil says 2023 is going to be all about GI Joe Classified. I don't know if all about GI Joe Classified, but you know, I feel like I feel like Marvel Legends needs to pick up their game a little bit. I don't know. I just not feeling. I mean, by no means am I putting Marvel Legends in the same category that I have like Star Wars right now, which to me is just like DOA. I mean, that line just kind of seems to be dead on arrival. But I do feel like Marvel Legends has kind of lost some of their momentum. Um, so I don't know. Maybe they'll surprise us with some stuff this year. Give us a better HasLab offering this year. I don't know. I mean, we got some cool figures coming. Don't get me wrong. Like, you know, some of the figures in that Avengers wave, I think are pretty cool. Uh, we've got the new X-Men wave, which we're gonna find out what the build a figure is next week. So, but I don't know. I haven't found myself quite as excited for Marvel Legends here recently as I have in years past. So I don't know. Neil says Marvel Legends has peaked. I don't know if I would say it. I think the biggest thing with Marvel Legends right now, and this is just my opinion, but one of the things I feel like Marvel Legends has lost is the excitement for their movie stuff. I don't think the more ever since Avengers Endgame, I don't think the Marvel movies have been as exciting for people, and therefore the figures based on those movies I don't think have been as exciting. So, Marvel, Hasbro has to keep putting out product for all those movies and TV shows, which, increases every year, though there's some indications that Marvel might be pulling back on that front. But nevertheless, that dominates a lot of the stuff that gets released. And I feel like the loss in excitement for the MCU movies in general, to some extent, I'm not saying people aren't still excited for MCU movies, but I feel like they not as excited as they once were, like leading up to Avengers Endgame. So I feel like that has maybe kind of taken a little bit of the air out of the Marvel Legend line. And I mean, as Hasbro does the more obscure comic book characters, the thing about comic book characters is there's always going to be somebody. I don't care what Marvel character you come up with, you throw the name out there, and there will definitely be people that are like, "Oh yeah, that would be a really cool figure to do." But there's also people that are like, "Yeah, I've never even seen that character before. Why would I care? Why would I want a Marvel Legend figure based on a character I don't even know, who they are?" So I feel like, people get more picky and choosy as when they do those more obscure characters. I love seeing the obscure characters, but I feel like the appeal on those is not as large as other more mainstream characters. Rashid says wants the Gamerverse Spider-Man figure to release already. I assume you're talking about that new Spider-Man one they showed off in the last live stream. Yeah, I don't know when that one's gonna come out. I do know there is a fan channel exclusive figure that should be coming this month for pre-order that should be Spider-Man released or based, but I don't know exactly what figure it is. So it could be that one, I suppose, but I don't know that for sure. Hasbro's been slipping as of late. Eh, maybe. I mean, so if you read like the business headlines, it definitely seems like there's a lot of internal turmoil with going on within Hasbro, especially with like their gaming division, Wizards of the Coast and stuff. So there was a proxy battle last year, and they lost their CEO rather suddenly, and so I would not be surprised if inside Hasbro things are not going super smoothly at the moment. So, but I still think we're getting some pretty cool things from Hasbro, but Rashid soft serve figure. I'm not sure what that. I think of ice cream when I hear soft serve. Lone Dragon says, "I'd love an Aunt May figure, an old Aunt May." See, and I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I also at the same time have to wonder how many people would actually be that interested in buying a figure of an old lady. Longtime Spider-Man comic book readers, I'm thinking would, but I really feel like that wouldn't be like a hot seller for Hasbro if they did an Aunt May figure. Again, I would certainly wouldn't mind seeing that, but when you start talking about characters like that, pretty plain characters like that, civilian characters and such, I often wonder if those actually sell very well for Hasbro or not. Isaac, Gold Label Vampire Batman's already hitting Walmart stores now, so I don't know if they're ever going to put it up on the Walmart website, but it's started to hit that, and the Eradicator figure are already hitting physical stores, mostly from reports that I've seen out west, but that figure is technically out now. Now I went to my local Walmart today. I hit two Targets up today in a Walmart, and I didn't see anything worth buying there either. I will say that the shelves had more product on them than they had the last few times I'd gone to those stores, but it was all product that's like been out for months. I saw very little in the way of new product. Like at Walmart, I did see a couple of the newer DC Superpower figures from McFarlane. Yeah, I saw the Deathstroke and the Batman Who Laughs, but like no DC Multiverse on the shelves at my Walmart. And at Target, I did see the Tiger Force GI Joe Classified Duke with Ram Cycle. One Target had like five of them. The other Target didn't have any. I have a feeling that's not going to be a hot seller, but I don't know. I've got that one. All those Tiger Force figures, the second batch are supposed to be shipping from Target this week. So I didn't buy the Duke at the store since it's coming in the mail. But my point is, whenever I go to retail, there's like almost nothing new. Um, Many times the shelves are just empty, and if they do have product, like I said, it's product that's been out for like months, if not longer. Bean says, "What do you mean no one wants Aunt May?" Put Civilian Pack out with Flash Thompson. It would, if they did something like that, it would probably be like a Pulse exclusive. Oh, Salome has arrived, folks. So if you're wondering, Henry G, did I mention the Indiana Jones fan stream on the 11th? I have not brought that up yet, but yes, Hasbro's announced Indiana Jones live stream for next week. Now I've been doing some checking. I don't expect anything Indiana Jones wise to be going up for pre-order. The only thing I've been able to tell that should be going up for pre-order this month for Indiana Jones is probably that Club Obi-Wan figure, which I believe is going to be a Target exclusive. So that may be going up for pre-order or being made available. We saw, I think it was some small store out in California got the entire wave plus that one, or maybe it was overseas. I lose track, but we've seen that figure. But Hasbro's not officially announced that Club Obi-Wan figure from the Temple of Doom movie. But that's the only figure that I believe is going up for pre-order. Not even like I'm like amazed that Hasbro has not given the okay for retailers to open up pre-orders for the rest of Wave One. Right now officially only two of the figures in Wave One are available for pre-order. So I don't know when Hasbro is going to actually allow the rest of that wave to go up for pre-order, but it does not look like, unless something changes, it does not look like that's going to be this month. So I doubt they're doing an entire live stream just to announce the Club Obi-Wan figure. So what they're going to show next week, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe they're going to start previewing images or figures from the new movie, not actually put it up for pre-order, but maybe start to show off like Indiana Jones from the new movie. Since we've gotten the trailers and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do for that live stream. But don't expect like a lot in the way of pre-orders or anything like that to go up this month. Neil, I don't know. I haven't heard anything recently about GI Joe live stream. I certainly wouldn't mind. I mean, I imagine if we don't get one this month, we'll get one next month. I have a feeling like this month will be fairly quiet on the live stream front. Definitely no Marvel Legend live streams this month, but next month I have a feeling we'll start to see a fair number of live streams from Hasbro because that's when Toy Fair would normally be, and obviously Toy Fair got moved to October, but I imagine that we'll still get some reveals and stuff next month. Jerry, will people buy those Indiana Jones figures? Well, yes, I imagine some people will. Will they be super sellers? I don't know. My guess is they'll be similar to the Ghostbusters Plasma series stuff. Um, but I don't know. It'll be. I think those will sell about. Well, here's my prediction. I don't think you're gonna see like Walmart and Target. I think it'll be like GI Joe Classified and such. Where I don't think you'll see it like that first wave of figures. I don't think you'll see them in large numbers at big box retailers. So my guess is probably the easiest way to get those will be online. Now the movie stuff, when we get to the new movie, then you'll probably start to see that carried at, but in greater numbers at the big box retailers. But we'll have to see. Toy Fair is was moved to October, so Toy Fair now is not until the end of the year, towards the end of the year. But again, I imagine, one of the things we kind of learned during COVID was that we don't really need these big conventions and stuff for companies to show off new product. So I suspect Hasbro might do a slew of live streams next month. Rashid says, "Yeah, I will definitely get. I'll probably pick up the first wave. Um, I don't know how interested I'm going to be in figures for the new based on the new movie, but I probably will at least pick up the first wave. The thing about like, it would be awesome if they did a Sean Connery figure from the third movie, but I feel like that's not very likely going to happen. So I don't know how deep they're going to go into the second and third movies or the fourth movie for that matter with this line. HoloNet Thunder Tank thoughts too big, too expensive. uh, I mean, for what it is, I don't think it's too big. Finding a space for it's not going to be easy. So in that regard, you might argue it's too big. But until I actually have it in hand, it's hard to really give you real thoughts about it. But I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. So, like I said a little bit ago, hopefully Super 7 will be shipping that out to us here fairly soon. HoloNet. Indie films are not very toyetic. Well, I mean, yeah, they're not like Star Wars. They've never had a successful toy line like Star Wars. I put them more in kind of the same category as Star Trek, where there's a lot of people who like the Indiana Jones movies, but for some reason the toys just never translate well. I have no idea, man, but I gotta be honest. I saw their images they posted, the Raymond Toys Dolph Lundgren head. To me, I mean, it looks better than the one that Mattel included with their figure, but it doesn't look like Dolph Lundgren to me. So if your goal is to get a Dolph Lundgren head, I'm not sure I would want to plop down money, but I mean, they're probably going to sell it directly on their website. I doubt you're going to see something like that carried at a big bad toy store or what have you. So, um, I think if you want to pay for that, you're going to have to buy it directly from them. Power Turtles. Playmates should have taken the Masters of the Universe Origins route. They screwed the pooch again. I assume you mean like kind of like modernizing a little bit their original toys. Yeah, I don't know. Play I don't know what it is about Playmates, but Playmates has always struggled trying to tap into the collector market. I mean, when they first announced those 6-inch, turtle figures back in the day, I mean, it's been years now, but when they first announced those, I had pretty high hopes for that line. I thought Playmates was going to actually, bring us some cool figures in the 6-inch scale and such. And then they kind of just dropped the ball. It's like they didn't get quite as good a sales as they were looking for with those initial figures, and so they kind of pulled the plug on it. Later they came back and tried again, reissuing figures and stuff. But I mean, that's all they've been doing really, is just reissuing figures, or they finally made the Shredder figure that they had made a prototype 4 years before, or what have you. But yeah, I don't know. Playmates, just like I said, seems to kind of struggle when they're trying to tap into the collector market. Though I will say, when they re-release those original toys, those seem to sell out quite well for them. So, um, you know, I don't get the appeal of just rebuying the same original toys over and over again. But like I said, I can't blame them for doing it because they always seem to sell out and stuff. Yeah, come on. I've talked about this in news videos and everything. The rumor is based on a Canadian distributor that threw up some listings of product that they said was coming from McFarlane Toys. But then they removed the listings, and when you clicked on the link, it took you to a Playmates Toys image. I mean, they removed the listings, but when you clicked on it, all it took you to was a Playmates Toys logo. I've seen no other distributors indicating that McFarlane's doing any kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle product. So, I can't sit here and tell you definitively they're not. My gut feeling is that they're not. My gut feeling is that Canadian distributor made a mistake. Those were probably product that were being released by Playmates Toys, and they just something happened and they just listed the wrong company. But I can't tell you that for sure. But that's all the rumors that you see, and it was I was the first one to find those listings and post about them on the internet on Toy News International. But of course, other websites that didn't even bother to credit us for that finding that news ran with that story, and they all started reporting, McFarlane Toys is doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie product with nothing to base it on other than just this one vague listing. So that's what it's based on. We'll have to wait and see. Again, my gut feeling is that it was just a mistake by that distributor, but that's just based purely on a feeling, and also the fact that a lot of times, we see those overseas distributors post about McFarlane toy products, and I've not seen anybody but that one Canadian distributor post about that. So, but we'll have to wait and see. But my feeling is, probably not. I think probably Playmates Toys is going to be the one that puts out products for that animated movie. Lone Dragon wants a violent night. I watched that movie. I watched that movie like not on Christmas Eve, but like the day before Christmas Eve, and it wasn't. I won't say it was horrible, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. And when I say good, like I wasn't expecting like some great acting movie, but I was kind of like expecting. I don't know. I thought it was okay at best. So I don't know, but I guess a figure based on Santa himself might be cool. Well, I will certainly post. I mean, that was a rumor. I mean, I knew when I saw those listings it was going to get out sooner or later, and I wanted to get it out there. And when I post about it, I'm pretty clear. I'm like, look, we've got this one distributor that's posted this. This doesn't mean it's confirmed. It doesn't mean, we don't really know much about this, but there are some indications here based on what this distributor has told us that maybe McFarlane Toys is doing movie product. And I even on purpose, I could have made the headline much more clickbaity, meaning, to get people even more interested in it. But I left it pretty, basic, the headline that we ran with on that story. But, you know, it was definitely news worth reporting about. But yeah, I felt like sites that were like claiming 100% like they knew that McFarlane Toys was doing something is ridiculous, because we don't, we often see these distributor lists or whatever, but either sometimes they can be wrong. I mean, I generally will try and get multiple confirmations on something, and I did reach out to other places and said, have you heard anything about McFarlane doing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle product? And everyone I asked was like, no, I haven't heard anything about that. So, but that doesn't always mean it's not true. But and then when they pulled down the listings, and it didn't surprise me that they pulled down the listings, because I figured the moment I saw them post that, even if they're legit, I figured they probably weren't supposed to be publicly putting those out there. But so at the very least, they screwed up probably in posting the listings to begin with. But the reason that makes me feel, that they made a mistake is because they had, when they took down the listings, they seem to deliberately put just the Playmates Toys logo up. So I don't know. But yes, I will toot my own horn, and that I try very hard to give you guys the most accurate news possible. And when I do report a rumor, I make sure to clarify. And there are rumors that I feel much more. There are rumor. I mean, I will almost consider everything a rumor until the company itself officially confirms it. But there are definitely rumors out there that I report on that I have, I feel like 99% sure this is going to be accurate. And then there are other rumors, like this McFarlane one, where I don't really know. All I know is what, this distributor put this listing up with McFarlane. It was like the Dragonfly thing, with the HasLab. I reported on that story because I felt like it was newsworthy, but I was very clear in my reporting that we have no confirmation other than this guy that appears to be a disgruntled contractor saying that a Dragonfly is coming. And I later had somebody contact me about that who said they were involved and saying that the guy was wrong. But even that, I can't sit here and tell you definitively is right, because maybe he's just trying to cover it up because he doesn't want to get in trouble with Hasbro, and this, because this news wasn't supposed to get gotten out, or I don't know. So I'm very clear even when I report something like that, that like I honestly don't know. I'm passing this information on to you. This is what we know, and we'll have to wait and see for further confirmation. But a lot of times people don't really read everything, or other sites will run with something or what have you. The Electro Charger. I see you guys talking about the Thundercat. Yeah, Henry, Thundercats Ultimates Mandora and her Electro Charger. I had not pre-ordered that one, and in fact, when they originally announced it, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to get this." And then I saw Big Bad Toy Store had it in stock today, and I was like, "Damn it!" And so I did end up buying it. So it'll be here next Tuesday. It should be here by next Tuesday, I believe. But yeah, if you buy the Mandora and the bike, it's over. It comes out to over $200. Power Turtle. Well, he's in Stranger Things, so that was a good movie. I like I like him as an actor, but you're right. He does have a try. I mean, he's been in some good movies, but usually in the movies, most of the movies he's not the starring character. Uh, Mr. 23. Any thoughts on the Boss Fight Studios Popeye? They look good from the images I've seen, but I have not had any in hand, so I can't tell you the quality of them. But they look good. I mean, if you're a fan of Popeye, I would be. I'm not a big enough Popeye fan. You know, I watched the cartoons as a kid, but I'm not a big enough Popeye fan that I'm that interested in buying action figures for it. But they look good, so I mean, if I was a Popeye fan, I probably would be buying them. But I haven't had them in hand, so I can't tell you of the quality. And Boss Fight Studio is about to announce their first wave this Friday. They've been teasing it for Fraggle Rock, so those should be interesting. I never really got into Fraggle Rock because I didn't have cable as a kid, and Fraggle Rock was a cable show, so I never really watched Fraggle Rock as a kid. But the figures that they've teased look pretty good. What's up, Michael? David, I wouldn't say he's a terrible actor. I like him in Stranger Things. I liked him in um The Equalizer, the Denzel Washington movie, The Equalizer. Again, he wasn't like the main character or anything, but I liked him in that movie. The only Valorverse figure I have is the first Sergeant Slaughter figure, which, I mean, it wasn't as good as Hasbro Sergeant Slaughter in my opinion, but you know, it wasn't a bad figure. But no, I have not gotten any of the other Valorverse figures. HollowNet says Fraggle Rock bored me to death as a kid. I wouldn't know. Like I said, I I did not have cable. I was like one of the last kids in my neighborhood to get cable. In fact, I was like a teenager in high school when my parents first got cable television. So I did not. I watched Muppets, that was on regular TV, but in Sesame Street. But I never watched Fraggle Rock. Ruben, what's up? My New Year's was pretty good. Nothing exciting. I didn't really go out or anything. Just me and my wife hung out, played some games on the Infinity game table. But but it was a good evening. It was a nice, relaxing evening. Hopefully, all you guys had great New Year's. Valor versus kicking ass, says Mr. B. I mean, that's another line that to me it looks good. I just, I don't know. I mean, I kind of stick with just the GI Joe, but they definitely look pretty good to me. I mean, there's a lot of smaller companies, Four Horsemen, Valorverse, um, that are making some pretty cool looking figures and stuff. I just, there's only just so many things I can collect. Lone Dragon. You should look into that Viper 3 pack. I think it's available still if you need some Vipers. Mike, yeah, I mean, yeah, they literally just took the Shredder figure and the Triceraton from the recent two packs that probably are still on shelves now, and they doing them as single releases. And then they took two of their movie turtles that they've released before. They dug up some soft goods trench coats and threw them on the figures and put them out, and that's what they're giving us for this new elite I mean, if you haven't gotten the figures, maybe that you'll get them. I don't know, but yeah, there's really nothing new with any of those figures they announced today. Isaac, I have not gotten any of the last Ronin figures. I have not read the comic book series, so I've been getting most of the Mirage figures, but I've not. I mean, they look good, but again, because I've not read the comic book series, I just haven't felt a huge desire to collect the last Ronin figures. Neil says Valorverse is the real deal. John says Action Force females in stock next week, then up for regular orders for a few weeks after pre-orders go out. Mike says literally had the old Playmate sitting next to me and saw the pictures. Oh snap! Yeah, sorry man, we started without you, but glad you got here. Spaceman, yeah, I actually just I saw Slash at Target today, but I had already ordered him from Entertainment Earth, so he should be here soon. And I got the Casey Jones, I got the Mirage Series Casey Jones figure. I haven't gotten the chick, the blue chick. I don't even remember that her, so I haven't gotten that one yet. But I have like been getting most. I got the original Mirage comic turtle figures that NECA did, so I've been kind of collecting the newer ones. But like I said, Last Ronin they look good. I just because I haven't. I should probably read the comic book series because I've heard pretty good things about it. And they're doing, they're continuing that story. I know IDW is doing like I don't know if it's a prequel or a sequel, but they're doing a more with the Last Ronin. Rashid says the Valorverse Swarm figure looks. I was looking at some images of that one. I agree. It does. The helmet looks pretty cool on that one. Isaac says he's back for one episode because they're essentially killing off the CW DC universe, so they brought him back for one episode. But he's dead, so I don't know if it's gonna be a flashback episode or if he's. I mean, they kind of brought him back. They left it open originally, I guess, to bring him back as like Dead Man or something, if I remember correctly. So I don't know if he's actually coming back as Green Arrow, if he's actually going to be alive, if it's going to be a flashback series. But I mean, it's hard to get excited since essentially the whole series is ending. I feel like the number one mistake they made with the DC CW universe is they killing off Green Arrow. He was kind of the backbone of that universe. Oh yeah, Spectre. That's right. Not Dead Man. I guess Spectre. Yeah, I mean, last time we saw him, yeah, he was. Oh, Neil, where did you get a Too Bad? I've seen some people have that figure in hand, but I mean that figure has not even officially got up for pre-order. I don't know what the hell the holdup is on Too Bad, but I can't wait to get my hands on him. I'd probably take that rumor with a grain of salt. That sounds like somebody, because like they're losing GI Joe and Transformers. Somebody's like, "Oh, IDW must be going bankrupt." Though to me, I mean, it, we've known for some time that IDW is losing GI Joe and Transformers, and yet there's yet to be an announcement on who's taking over the comic book licenses for those two. So I wonder if like Hasbro's asking too much money for those properties, and nobody wants to do GI Joe and Transformers. Super Cal, I do. In fact, they're in the shelf behind me, on the bottom shelf behind me. Um, it was a great line. Unfortunately, we're never going to see any more figures for those. But and the reason why I never bought the Arrow or the Flash, well, the Arrow figure looked horrible. The Flash figure wasn't too bad, but the reason why I didn't buy the McFarlane figures is because I figured there was next to no chance we were ever really going to get any real number of those CW characters. Isaac John Diggle, he certainly like has been going around appearing in all the shows and stuff, but I definitely wouldn't consider him the backbone. Whether we ever see him as Green Arrow or not Green Arrow, but Green Lantern or what have you. Neo, you got. I heard Paul Mart had those in for limited time, like they sold out real quick. And yeah, I don't know how that guy gets stuff in early, but he always seems to get the Masterverse stuff pretty before anyone else. Of course, he also, if I'm not mistaken, sells them at higher prices as well. Ruben, I will be getting the Spiral figure. I definitely from that wave, I'm gonna get Spiral and Avalanche. Probably will get the long shot, even though I have the long shot from the box set, but I like the single carded long shot better, so I'll probably get long shot as well. But yes, definitely will. I haven't pre-ordered it. I'm just waiting until they come in stock, and then whoever gets it in stock first is probably where I'll buy it from. We'll have to see if Hasbro ever gives us real Ghostbusters or not. They definitely said they were going to be doing more Ghostbuster product this year, but whether it's the real Ghostbusters, I don't know. Spaceman, yeah, I mean, I got to get Spiral to go with my Mojo, and I definitely need Avalanche so I can finish out my Brotherhood of Evil Mutants or Mystique's team of mutants. I've got Prio. I'm gonna get the Blob figure. I've got Mystique. Yeah, we need Hasbro to give us a Destiny figure and oh, you did? Cool. Then I might go on and pre-order them from Big Bad if they're getting ready to get them in stock. I'm not getting the Wolverine. I'm not getting those yellow and blue X-Men figures. I'm not getting the Wolverine or the two 3-packs. I don't really care about the X-Men in those outfits, so I'm not getting those. But I am getting the Blob figure, definitely getting the Blob figure and some of those retro figures. I don't know which one like I don't know which ones from the new X-Men wave I want to get. I definitely want to get Corsair because he's leader of the Starjammers and he's Cyclops and Havoc's father. I picked up the rest of the Bonebreaker wave off of Amazon on discount uh the other week when they had them discounted. Not because I really care about the figures themselves, but I wanted the Bonebreaker build a figure. So I did finally get those. I'm waiting for Vulcan to still get here, but Mike, what's my dream? I don't have a dream wave. My dream is for Hasbro to start finishing out some of these teams that they've started. X Force, X Factor, Excalibur, the Winter Guard, Alpha Flight, Thunderbolts, the original Thunderbolts, New Warriors. I want those teams to be completed. So that's my dream. And if they want to throw them all in one wave, that would be fantastic. But that's my dream is for them to start finishing up these teams. I mean, like the thing about the Starjammers is I wouldn't mind getting the Starjammers, but like it's going to be like 6 years before Hasbro decides to give us all the members of the Starjammers. So it's like I'm kind of hesitant to want to start a new team. I understand the reasoning for not releasing a team all at the same time, but I feel like Hasbro's definitely been stretching out some of these teams way too long. Especially like X Force and X Factor, where all we need are Feral and Wolfsbane, which we've been waiting years for. Curtis says if they finish the teams, there won't be anything for you to buy. Well, again, I understand that reasoning of wanting to stretch them out to get to keep you invested in the line, but I feel like with some of these teams, they've stretched it out way too long. You know that that can only works for a certain amount of time. Then you start to get really frustrated and pissed off, and then you're like, screw it, I'm out of here. Neil says, enjoyed my best of 22 list. My top five action figure lines of 2022, and then the top five figures for each of those lines. Yeah, I talked about that last week during the live stream, and then as I sat there thinking about it, I made a few changes. Mostly with number five, I decided I wanted Thundercats to be my number five. But thanks for checking that video out. I did a new updated room tour video on the channel earlier this week, so hopefully you check that out as well. Neo, I have not seen anything about that, but they own Silverhawks, and I doubt they sold it. So, but Silverhawks isn't just something that it isn't like a license that they got to make toys for. They actually bought the Silverhawks license, so they own it. So like Raymond Toys, that is also doing Silverhawks figures, that's one of the few lines that they actually pay a licensing fee for to produce those figures. Most of those figures Raymond Toys makes are bootlegs, but the Silverhawks are actually officially licensed, and so they're paying Super 7 to make those, to be able to make those figures. And Super 7 was, when they first got that license, was talking about how they were going to start doing cartoons and things like that. And maybe all that has sputtered out, I don't know, but unless they sold the license to somebody else, that's their license. Now, maybe their Ultimates have not been selling well, so maybe they're just gonna let like Raymond Toys make the figures or what. But that's not the same thing like them doing Thundercats, because they don't own Thundercats. They just got the license from Warner Brothers to be able to do Thundercats, but they own Silverhawks. I've done I don't do them. I don't make a big deal out of them, but I've definitely done some top lists in the past. If you go back and look at older videos, but and it's hard because first of all, they're just my personal favorites. So like U.S. Agent is definitely one of my top Marvel Legend figures, but that's because he's a favorite character. I mean, it was a pretty good figure. Don't get me wrong, but he's also in that list because he's just a favorite character of mine. There are tons of other Marvel Legends that probably could make the list, but those were just my personal favorites. And because I don't buy every single Marvel Legend I mean, I used to probably buy every Marvel Legend that Hasbro put out, but I don't do that anymore. Just like a lot of you guys, I've had to cut back high prices, or just lost some interest in some of the stuff they've done. So I don't have every single Marvel Legend figure that Hasbro released in 2022. So I can't really sit here and say these are the best figures that Hasbro released. And I feel like there's very few people out there who could actually make that claim. There's probably a couple who still buy every single Marvel Legend that comes out, but but I feel like most of these lists that you see are just everyone's favorites, which it's cool. If you want to see what everyone else likes, that's cool. But I don't take them seriously as in, oh, these are the best figures that were produced by the company or what have you. But I will say that I feel like GI Joe Classified, if seems to be on a lot of people's top lists. So I feel like just because you've seen so many people praise GI Joe Classified, if I was the GI Joe brand team, I'd be feeling pretty proud that they've made a line that has been well received by most collectors. Oh snap! Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I used to literally, and my parents hated it because it fucked up the walls, but I would literally wallpaper. I mean, I always bagged and backboard my comics, even when I was, in high school and stuff. But I would hang them on the walls, and I would have them. I mean, the ones you saw in the video that I have up around here, these are just pretty random because it was a comic book box that I had easy access to. A lot of my comic books are in boxes that are kind of like either under the stairs there or they're over in storage and they're not easy to get to. But one of the boxes was easy to get to, and so I just started pulling out some of the cooler issues that was in that box. But I used to like I would have them displayed by title and like in chronological order of the issues and stuff, and my entire bedroom walls would be covered in comic books. 3M says, well, see, to me, I mean, definitely when Classified started out, like, 1 or 2 years ago, especially with all the debacles with the Target exclusives and stuff, I definitely, G.I. Joe Classified was a very difficult line to get. But I feel like there's been some vast improvements if you're willing to buy the figures online. They're still pretty sporadic at physical stores. Like I very rarely see any new GI Joe Classified figures at physical stores like Walmart and Target around here. But if I'm willing to buy them online, I've not had too much issue with any of the GI Joe Classified figures in the past year. You have to wait sometimes longer than others, but if you want to get your hands on them, you're not having to go to eBay and pay secondary prices for them. That wasn't the case when they started out with the Target exclusives and doing key characters like Major Blood and Firefly and stuff as Target exclusives. I mean, one of the best things they did, changes they made, was switching the Target exclusives to something like Tiger Force and Python Patrol, because those are just repaints. I'm sure there are completists or just fans of those, sub teams that want to get those, but they are essentially just repaints. So if you miss any of those, you don't have this glaring hole. You're going to get a regular Bazooka. You're going to get almost definitely a regular Recondo. They haven't announced a regular Recondo yet, but he's coming. So, it's far better than when they first started. So, you know, lots of props to Hasbro for, improving the distribution on that line. Again, if you're refuse to buy online and you're going to the stores to try and find the classified, then yeah, I definitely could understand your frustration. But I feel like classified has become much easier to get. Mr. Allmine, yes. I was at Walmart today and there was like 20 Lady J's on the those retro card back Lady J's. I I'm amazed because Walmart had to have ordered so many of those figures. And I'm like, why? Who does the ordering at Walmart? The figure out of those initial retro figures, if they were going to order a large number of them, it was the Gung Ho figure that they should have ordered, because that was really like a new figure, because the Gung Ho we got in the regular line was not anything like the original classic Gung Ho. So the Gung Ho was going to be the most popular, likely going to be the most popular figure in that line for collectors, and yet they seem to just order a ton of Lady J's. And the Lady J figure, it's not a bad figure, though on mine, I haven't opened the retro card back one, so I don't know if they made any improvements. But on my regular Lady J, like the legs are so loose that she won't even stand. Like the legs just spread apart. So I have to have her propped up against the wall of the cabinet. But Gung Ho, or maybe even like Destro, even though Destro is pretty much the same figure, but Destro's kind of a unique character. But Lady J, and it's not because she's a female, it's just the regular Lady J was not that difficult to get, and and it just seems like Walmart ordered so many of those. But and then like the Crimson Guard, the retro Crimson Guard and the retro Storm Shadow, those will probably be hard to get. It's like those are the ones that they should have ordered a lot of, and especially like the Crimson Guard, but instead, it's Lady J that they. The most recent Star Wars figure I got, I think it was I want to say it's probably the fifth brother from the Obi-Wan series. I have not gotten any Andor figures. I've seen a few of the Andor figures on the pegs, but I've not bought any of the Andor figures. I've got some others on pre-order, some of the other Obi-Wan figures, which I think are about to start shipping soon from Big Bad Toy Store. But Star Wars is just a line that I get less and less excited for. It's just like, oh yeah. And like the Book of Boba Fett figure, that figure's like the backpack on that figure, like if you look at it wrong, falls off the Boba Fett figure. It's like all these years making Boba Fett figures, how could you have screwed up the jetpack and not been able to make a figure where you can securely have the jetpack on the figure? It's amazing to me. I don't think. I mean, we'll see. But I don't think Storm Shadow's been released yet, so we'll see how many Storm Shadows Walmart get. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they ordered Storm Shadow in a small number, just like with the Crimson Guard. Those they'll order in small numbers, and in large part because they've got so many Lady J's sitting on the shelf. Spaceman got his for Maul, the shirtless Maul. I have not. I did not pre-order the Maul figure. Well, the only classified, like at Walmart, they have the Lady J retro figure, and then at Target, the only classified figures I see are I still see those Snake Eyes movie figures. And then again today, I did see the Tiger Force Duke and Cycle at one Target. Mr. B, anyone take advantage of the 70% off Marvel Legends at Walgreens? I heard some people say that Walgreens canceled their orders for those $7 Marvel Legend figures. I don't know if that happened with a lot of people or not, but Walmart apparently is getting out of the Marvel Legend game. So somebody somebody made me aware of it last week in the live stream. I forget who told me that, but Dan Yun has confirmed that no Marvel Legend exclusives for Walgreens next year or this year. Oh, I will tell you that the new Disney Plus wave with She-Hulk and Hawkeye and all those seem to be warming the pegs at Target. I went into two Targets and both Targets had a ton of those figures. I got Moon Knight and She-Hulk from that wave, and I paid full price for them. I bought the Miss Marvel figure at discount off of Amazon. I paid $17 for Miss Marvel, and if the others in that wave go on discount, I'll probably get them. But otherwise, I'm just gonna pass on those. And I don't really care about the other figures. I wouldn't mind getting the Ultron Build a figure, but but being that they seem to be kind of warming the pegs at Target, I wouldn't be surprised if that wave doesn't end up going on discount. Oh, Jerry, you did get them for $7? Nice. I already had all the figures, so unfortunately, it didn't do me any good. I paid full price for all of them. And most of them are still listed on Walgreens website, but right now they're at full price. But I keep checking periodically to see if they're gonna they had discounted Baron Zemo again for a while for $7. He's back at full price again. But I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they end up discounting those figures again. Oh no, so he's glad. The Walgreens exclusives didn't really bother me because I very rarely found them at physical Walgreens stores, but they usually were available on their website sooner or later. So they definitely slowed down getting them up there, but I think have been able to buy every single one of those Walgreens exclusives off of their website. So I hate Walmart. For me, the exclusives I generally hate the worst are Walmart because even if you buy them online, Walmart sends them in envelopes and they'll put giant stickers on them and stuff. So, and if they don't make them on, if they don't put them online, then trying to find any exclusive at my local Walmart is near impossible. So, for me, Walmart is the worst place to have an exclusive. Though I will also tell you, like that like some of those recent Target DC Multiverse exclusives that they seem to refuse to put online have also been a pain in the ass. Well, that's cool he's selling in your area, but I saw like I mean maybe they just freshly stocked that wave, but the first Target I went to today, I mean they had at least seven Hawkeyes on the pegs. Um, and the second Target had less figures, but they still had at least one of every figure in that wave on the shelves, and that's not the first time I've seen that wave at my Target store. So I mean, it's hard, just because you see something on the shelf, it's always hard to tell. Like, did the store just actually stock the stuff well, so they're still selling, but you know they're able to keep them in stock? So I think we've gotten to this point where if we don't see it sell out instantly, we think it's not selling well. So I don't want to say it's not selling well, but I'm just saying that wave is not hard to get. Um, because if the stores around me have them, it's usually a guarantee that most stores have them, and they're also readily available online. I mean, you can go to Amazon or Big Bad or Entertainment Earth or wherever and buy any of the figures from that wave. But in Moon Knight, you would think Moon Knight would be hard to get, but so far at least he hasn't been. I mean, that's what we as collectors would love to see, right? We'd love to be able to just anytime we want a if we want a figure, if we could just walk into any Walmart or Target and find those figures on the shelves, that would be, that's what we want, right? And so when we see that, when we see, oh, well, I went into two Targets and I saw that wave at both Targets, we're like, our first thought is, oh, well, it must not be selling well. And, so it's kind of like a catch 22 there. I don't know. I got my Mezco Crow figure the other day. I had totally forgotten I'd even pre-ordered that thing, but that arrived. I thought, well, Walmart finally sold out. Those retro cards. Joe figures were available online for quite a while. I haven't checked recently, but most of those retro cards. The problem with buying the retro card back figures from Walmart is again they're going to ship them to you in an envelope, so the card backs are going to get all bent up. So if you want those mint, ordering them from Walmart online is not. If you want them mint on card is a crapshoot. And Hasbro Pulse had them, but they did sell out pretty quickly on Hasbro Pulse. Mr. Almond, did I pre-order the turtle? I have not pre-ordered the turtles. I don't know if I'm gonna get. I mean, they look pretty good, but I feel like I've got enough turtles already. I'm not a huge Mezco fan. I just I get a few here and there, but I don't buy a lot of Mezco figures. I'm just not a huge fan of the soft goods outfits and things like that. Mike says, what's really wacky is because Target's getting straight cases of individual figures, it's messing up the discounted clearance pricing bad. Yeah, Target, they started, a lot of retailers are, getting solid cases of figures. And that's now, I don't know about the discounted thing, but what really screwed up was like, that's why you would only see a couple of figures in a wave show up because the stores would only get half the wave in stock while the other half got stuck out at sea somewhere. So, um, and the same thing for online e-tailers. The idea behind the solid cases is so that retailers could order, cases of figures that they figure are going to be more popular so that they can keep them better stocked. But with all the distribution issues, what ended up happening is waves got broken up, and so places only got partial waves in stock and stuff. John says finding the figures and seeing them abundant on pegs causes a major loss of interest in the line. I think there's truth to that. I mean, there's a couple things that I think we don't like to really think about in this hobby, but we all say we hate scalpers, and I do hate scalpers, but the truth is that there's an aspect to collecting that when something is deemed hard to get, people want it more. If you think it's easy to get, you're either not as interested or you're like, well, I'll just wait till it goes on clearance, or I'll wait, 5 weeks from now and I'll pick it up later, or what have you. So, scalpers, and I'm not defending scalpers and I'm not promoting scalpers, but the truth is when something is deemed harder to get, it does. I feel like with a lot of people, it makes people more interested. Um, Not even necessarily from a value standpoint. Obviously, if it's deemed hard to get, it's probably going to go up in value, at least temporarily. But it's like more of a prize. It's like, oh, I've got this thing that's hard to get, and so I do think there is an element that when something is viewed as easy to get, people are less likely to buy it because for whatever reason they become less interested in it. So it's kind of a catch 22 there. Like I said, it would be optimal for if we could just go into any Target and Walmart and find the figures that we want easily. But then if that happened, you know, I think you'd probably start seeing a lot of peg warming stuff. Lord Venger says, just pisses me off. Want to spend my money elsewhere looking at Matty Collect or Mattel Creations. Tim says, was hoping we get a HasLab unboxing stream for the Sky Striker shipping soon, but not sure we. Yeah, I tend to doubt we're gonna get a stream dedicated to unboxing the Sky Striker. Maybe they might. I might see them doing that like on Instagram, like in one of those quick Instagram streams or something. But I doubt they would do a full on YouTube live stream for unboxing the Sky Striker. But I'll give you guys an unboxing when mine arrives. So Power Turtles doesn't mess with I. Yeah, I get a few of the He-Man exclusives from Mattel Creations because yeah they're exclusive, but Jerry says it's proud of Fisto being one of the hardest to find. See, to me, all the classics were a pain in the ass to get because you had to get them off of Matty Collector, which that's why I didn't really heavily collect the classics line. Riot Press Productions, what's up, man? Isaac says he thinks Walgreens canceled their exclusives with Hasbro because they couldn't deliver in a timely manner. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Walgreens dumped Marvel Legends or if Hasbro dumped Walgreens. My guess is Walgreens probably dumped Marvel Legends, but I don't know. That is I thought about that myself was like, who dumped who? Michael, the only live stream we know about this, we know there's no Marvel Legend live stream this month, and we do know there is an Indiana Jones live stream next week, but that's all we know. Riam says it's gonna get to the point where I'm gonna treat action figures like video games, that being I don't buy video games at full price anymore. I if it's something I want, if it's something I 100% want, I'll pay full price for it, and I don't really mind paying full price for it. If it's something like the X-Men Bonebreaker wave, I really not that interested in most of those figures in that wave. And I did, in like the Siren figure I bought when it first came out. I paid full price for Siren because I wanted Siren. But most of those individual figures I wasn't interested in, so I didn't buy those at full price. But I did want the Bonebreaker Build a Figure, so I did go on and buy those figures once those figures went on discount. It's you do play a little bit with fire because you don't always know which figures are going to go on discount and or end up being hard to get rare figures, and then you end up kicking yourself for missing out. But yeah, I don't think, especially again, if it's something you're on the wall about and you don't really you could do without it, I don't think there's anything wrong waiting to see if it goes on discount and then picking it up. I wouldn't do it with every single figure, but I definitely, there are times where I'm like, yeah, if it goes on discount, I'll pick it up, but otherwise I'll pass on it. I think that's the mentality you have to take. You have to be willing, it has to be a figure you're willing to pass on. So if it doesn't go on discount, you're not upset. So, you know, if it goes on discount, that's great and you can pick it up at a cheap price. But if it doesn't go on discount, then you're okay with just doing without it. So I feel like that's the mentality you have to take if you're going to do that kind of thing. Jerry's well, but look at it this way, Jerry. You've been able to enjoy Bonebreaker for a lot longer than I have. So there you go. Lone Drag. Yeah, that was a little disappointing about the Siren figure. Screaming Face would have definitely been made that figure better. Uh, I have not gotten any of the premium DNA figures. If they actually come in stock, where I might check out some of their Battletoad figures, but the other stuff that they've done just hasn't personally interested me. But I'm not going to pre-order any of those figures, and like I said, if they come in stock, then I might check out some of the Battletoad stuff. Oh snap! Yes, Masters of the Universe Origins Snake Mountain should be coming out later this year. Let's see. Riot Press. Thank you for the super chat donation. Keep up the great work. If you ever want to talk about Toys Live, hit me up. Will do, man. But always appreciate the super chats. 49ers. I'm cutting back on some lines because Jade is coming out with Street Fighters. I'm still going to pick and choose which Street Fighter characters I want. Yeah, I'm with you there. Though I will probably. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll end up how many of those Jada Toy Street Fighter. I definitely get some of those Street Fighters. I definitely like the Dawson figure. I will get probably Guile and Chun Li, Ryu. I'll probably get, but like Fei Long, I don't know. It's not a character I'm super interested in, so I could see myself passing on a figure like that. But I don't know. I'll have to play it by ear. Mike said the Mega Man looked good too, but I've just never really been into Mega Man, so I'm probably not going to collect the Mega Man figures. But they do look good, and I'm glad to see them doing more than just Mega Man. It always seems like that's all. Anytime someone does Mega Man, that's like all we ever get is just Mega Man. So I'm glad to see them kind of going deep on characters. But for me, I just have never been that big of a Mega Man. Like I'd never really played the game that much, so it's probably not a line that I will collect. Street Fighter I will collect, though I don't know if I'll get every figure. But Mega Man I probably will not. Lord Wenger says, getting deep into Game of Thrones series now, and I have to say that I've always loved Lena, but I absolutely hate her queen's. I won't give away spoilers, but I gotta tell you, Game of Thrones. I didn't like the last season, so I don't know what season you're on, but I mean it was a good show overall, but I was disappointed in the last season. I think we talked about that last week. I want to say the price of Snake Mountain is going to be like because the price leaked out. I think so. This was based on Amazon having this up temporarily back in early December, but Amazon had indicated that the Snake Mountain playset will be out in August of this year. And the original price they listed was $113, but then they had it actually marked down to $82, even though it wasn't actually available. So I don't know how accurate either of those prices are, but probably looking at a summer release for Snake Mountain. John says, which toy lines had licenses to make Game of Thrones? So Funko was the first company to do like 6-inch Game of Thrones figures, and they looked decent, but they were like the quality control on the Funko figures were horrible. Like if you looked at them wrong, they would break. So if you ever buy any of those Funko Game of Thrones figures, be very careful in handling them. McFarlane got the license to do Game of Thrones, but they never really did much with it. And then like 3-0 has been doing 12-inch figures for Game of Thrones. Yeah. Funko is the one has made the most in the way of 6-inch Game of Thrones figures. But again, if you buy any of those, just be very careful and when you handle them because they break very easily. One Man Toy Show yeah. Well, Amazon did too. So, or I guess no, I take that back. It was Deep Discount that had it. You're right. You're right. They had it up for pre-order temporarily, and then they took it down, and they had it discount. They listed the original price. They said the original price was $112.99, and then they had it marked down to $82 or $81.71 is what they had it marked down. But then they pulled the entire listing. I don't think they were supposed to have had it listed. I think they jumped the gun on listing it. So, but that's the neighborhood price, and then they had, again had listed it with an August of this year release date. So I'm thinking probably July August timeframe is when we'll see it actually out on shelves. I'm trying to remember. Did McFar? I know they've got I know they've been doing dragons for Game of Thrones, and they did those building. They did those building toys for Game of Thrones, but I don't think they actually did any like 7-inch figures for Game of Thrones. Yeah, I don't think they did any actual action figures. Their big thing with Game of Thrones was when they were trying to do those building block toys, which I think bombed, and then they've been doing some dragons, for their dragons line, but Funko was the main company to do 6-inch action. I can't remember if it was 6 or 7-inch scale, but that size figure. And then, like I said, 3 has been doing 12-inch figures. If you're into 12-inch figures, you might check out the 3 stuff. Oh, did they? Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. They did because the head sculpt for the Dead Man figure looks very similar to the Game of Thrones Frost King figure or Night King figure. You're right. So they did do some, but they didn't do a whole lot. They didn't really go very deep. Yeah, if you have their Night King, the McFarlane Night King figure, and you get the DC Multiverse Deadman figure, I'm pretty sure they used the same head sculpt. I got a lot of those Funko figures, but most of them ended up breaking. Comics, yeah, my Dead Man has shipped from Target as well, so he should be here pretty soon. I'm gonna be getting like a ton of stuff from Target here in the next week. I'm gonna be getting like all those Tiger Force GI Joe figures, the bazooka, the Recondo, and the Trooper, plus the Duke and Bike. I'm going to be getting all the Dungeons and Dragons animated figures, including Vengar, um, and then also the Deadman DC Multiverse figure. Eric says Bazooka looks great. Well, both Bazooka and Wakanda look great, though. I got to be. I mean, like I'm looking much more. Yeah, I'd rather have the regular version of Bazooka. Like like I have the Outback figure, but I haven't opened Outback because I'm like I'm just gonna wait for I'm gonna wait for the regular version of Outback instead of the Tiger Force version. Lee 86. I believe those should be going up for pre-order sometime fairly soon here. I believe last I heard was they said they were going to go up for pre-order early this year, so like January, February timeframe. But I don't have any specific dates. Mike says, I hopefully you checked out my review yesterday of the Mondo He-Man figure, but I was lucky. My He-Man figure was in one piece and I actually had really no quality control issues with my He-Man. I will say some of the joints are a little bit loose, not as loose as the ones on my She-Ra figure, but definitely didn't have any issues with like it breaking in half like I've seen some people. Ivan, the Dungeons and Dragon animated figures from Target are supposed to start. Actually, they have started shipping to somebody I know said they just got their Vanguard figure today. So I haven't gotten a shipping notice on those, but I think they're supposed to be out by the 13th. So next week is when those Dungeons and if those are the ones you're talking about. Yeah, it made me feel that getting the a He-Man figure that didn't break in half made me feel a little bit better about Battle Cat because I was like because I did have some quality control issues with the She-Ra with the really loose joints and only getting one grip hand. Though Mondo is sending me out a second grip hand. Um, but when I started seeing people's He-Man figures breaking in half out of the package, that well, I was worried whether mine was going to have that issue, but then it also with the Battle Cat figure, I'm like, oh my god, what kind of quality control issues is Battle Cat going to have? Yeah, you do have to be careful with if you're talking about the He-Man. Yeah, I did get some paint rub on the skin. Like my biggest complaint with that He-Man figure is they didn't give us a sheath for the power sword. And so if you wanted to have a sword on his back, you just got to stick it in the harness, and that seems to scratch the paint a little bit. Stillman says the D&D figures are going to be the year's biggest peg warmers. Yeah, we'll have to see, but yeah, I'm not sure that movie's gonna do very well. I'm still not sure why Walmart or not Walmart, but Amazon on January 1st put up three of the figures on their website, and nobody else has put them up, and why they didn't put the Chris Pine figure up. But yeah, I'm not sure those are going to be huge sellers for Hasbro. But I think Hasbro's probably will be more upset if the movie bombs, and I don't know. I mean, maybe the movie will be good, but I definitely am not planning on going to the movie theaters to watch that movie. I'll watch it when it comes out on home release. I did, man. You did a good job with your reviews. I've seen mixed results. I've seen some people say like cheap plastic with their figures, and I've seen others say they've had no issues. So hopefully, I get figures that don't have any real issues. Power Turf. Not all of them. their first couple of Transformer movies did really well at the box office. But yes, Hasbro has not had a lot of luck with their movies. Yeah, Pixel Dan had some quality control issues with his D&D figures, but he wasn't the first I heard have some issues with the cheap plastic. But then I've seen other people say their figures were fine. So it's one of those where I think it's like a hit or miss. I don't think every single figure is got cheap plastic, but it definitely sounds like there are some out there that do. All right, well, it's 8:30, so I think we're gonna call it a wrap for tonight. But as always, guys, I want to thank you for coming in here and listening to me ramble. It's much appreciated. Look for a news video tomorrow. Next week, I'm gonna try. I went out to a somewhat local vintage toy store here in the Maryland area. It's about an hour away, but I went out there. I actually went out there last week, and I talked with the owner and I did some walkthrough filming and stuff. So I'm going to do a spotlight for this vintage toy store, which if I get the editing done, I will have up next week. Um, and if it's something that if people like to see that kind of thing, like, tours of vintage toy stores and stuff, then I might try and do that a little bit more. Um, but look for that next week. Probably we'll do some reviews of some of the new stuff coming in. More news videos, of course, more live streams. But as always, guys, thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for supporting the channel by watching the channel. Much appreciated. Stay safe out there, and until next time, guys, I will catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News Message Boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.